Hello everyone. Okay. If you can hear a little bit of purring in the background, that's because my cat has decided to join me, just not on camera, she's behind the camera, but purring very loudly and jumping everywhere. Anyway, hello and welcome along to this week. Today I'm going to talk to you about where to start when planning your ceremony. And just as a very side note, those of you that watch regularly will notice that I'm in a slightly different spot today. Just thought I'd have a little bit of a change of scenery. I've been in my office all week this week, hard at work, so thought a change of scenery would be good. So, where to start when planning your ceremony? So, the scene is that you have just got engaged, maybe you just had a baby, maybe you've experienced excuse me, an event in your life recently that actually means that your relationship with either your partner or your family has been sort of brought into sharper focus. So it's something that has really begun to take even more importance for you, and how you can cement and affirm that relationship. Whatever the scenario, you're planning your ceremony. So where's the first thing that you're going to start? Because it can feel quite overwhelming when you start to think about, well, you know, where you're going to do it, when's it going to be, who you're going to invite, and then it's just like a whole list of stuff. It can feel like the things that you're supposed to think about and supposed to consider. But what I would suggest is that you start at the very, very beginning. That's always a good place to start. And by that I mean thinking about who you want to conduct your ceremony. Do you want to have a particularly religious service? Do you have a strong faith, which means that you absolutely want to have a religious service, so whether that be in a church, a mosque, a synagogue, whatever your place of worship is, do you want to have that as the venue for your ceremony? Do you want to have a celebrant? Of course, you would expect me to say that. But within celebrancy, I would suggest that there are two sort of distinct groups of celebrants. There are independent celebrants and celebrants such as humanists. So again, you've got a choice there of whether you want to have a celebrant that subscribes to a particular set of beliefs, or a celebrant that can accommodate any set of beliefs or no beliefs at all. I'm an independent celebrant, so that means that with someone like me, you can be as traditional or non-traditional, religious or non-religious as you like, and you can incorporate anything and everything into your ceremony. So that's absolutely the first thing to do, is think about who you would like to officiate your ceremony. Now, there's lots of ways that you can find celebrants. There's lots of directories online. I am a member of the Association of Independent Celebrants that have an online directory. You can just look that up on their website. But there's lots of different places out there that have lists of celebrants, so you can find somebody just for you. So after you've thought about who you want to conduct your ceremony, then I would suggest you think about where are you going to have it. Do you want to have it, obviously if you're having a religious service, you're most likely going to have that in the religious setting, so like I said, a church, mosque, synagogue, that type of venue. If you're not going down that route, you could choose to have a well-established venue. So, for example, if you're getting married, you might want to go for a licensed venue because you feel that you want to have a registrar to conduct your ceremony. But if you're looking at a celebrant, whether you're getting married or any other type of ceremony, the world is your oyster actually for venues and where you want to have your ceremony, because with a celebrant, any type of celebrant, you're not constricted to a particular type of venue for a licence or anything like that. So it could be that you want to do your ceremony in your back garden, because actually you've got a bit of room and you want quite an intimate and close ceremony. Your back garden could be the perfect backdrop for your ceremony. It might be that you absolutely love the beach and that you want to go and have a ceremony on the beach. You can do that. So location is actually really open, and if I was your celebrant, I would certainly be talking to you and be happy to talk to you about any thoughts you're having about the location of where you want to have your ceremony. So who do you want to conduct? Where do you want it conducted? And what then do you need to think about in terms of your ceremony and what that's going to look like? So I would say that there are sort of four things. Hold up three fingers and said four. I'm having a good day. Four things. One is, who do you want to be involved? Of course, if it's something like a wedding or a commitment ceremony, renewal of vows, of course you and your partner are going to be the main part of the show. But is there anybody else that you would like to be involved? Do you have children that you would like to be involved, particularly in your ceremony? Do you have other relatives or, you know, significant other people in your life that you feel you would like to play a particular role in your ceremony? Because whoever they are, and whatever significance they hold for you, we can incorporate them. We can do something to incorporate them. You can actually do things to incorporate all of your guests, but that might take some thinking about whether you want to do that or not. So is there anyone else that you want to include or have play a particular part in your ceremony? And whether there is or there isn't, are there any particular actions or symbolism that you want to incorporate in your ceremony? Now, a good celebrant will always be able to make suggestions about symbolic actions and what might be appropriate or how it can be incorporated. But things such as a ring warming, where you have, for a couple, you have rings that you want to exchange. Those rings are passed around your guests for them to bestow their wishes and their good hopes for you before you then exchange those rings. There's lots and lots of different things. I've talked a lot about symbolic actions if you go back and look at previous videos and my blog posts, and if you're a reader of my newsletter, you'll know that I talk about symbolic actions quite a lot. So if there are things that you want to do in that sense, and you know that there are, brilliant. Talk to your celebrant, talk to your officiant about that and how that can be incorporated. If you don't know, as I said, a good celebrant will always be able to make suggestions and have ideas about what can be done and how things can be incorporated. So that's symbolic actions. And then the other two things are kind of interlinked really, music and readings. So most ceremonies have music of some description, whether it's just music as guests are coming in and then leaving again at the end. It might be that you have music at a particular part of the ceremony because maybe that's part of the symbolic action or something that has particular significance for you, a particular piece of music. And then readings can be prose or they can be poetry. They could be song lyrics, even just read out loud, don't have to be sung. There's lots and lots of readings and different poetry out there, but again, every good celebrant will have their own little collection of poetry and readings, but if you have something that you know you want to be read out, absolutely, let's have a look at that and let's incorporate it in some way. So are there people particularly that you want to be involved in your ceremony? Are there any symbolic actions that you want to incorporate, whether that be sort of old, very traditional actions like exchanging rings, or whether it's something completely new and original that you've thought of and you think, do you know what, I've never heard of this before, but I really like it and I want to incorporate it in some way. Brilliant. So symbolic actions. And then music and poetry or readings. So the four elements of the ceremony that I think are sort of the fundamental key pieces that you need to start considering. If all of that sounds really overwhelming and you're still not sure where to start or what you think you like or who would be included or anything like that, sit down, have a chat to your partner or your anyone else around you who's going to be involved in that ceremony. Have a chat with them. It doesn't all have to be on you. If you're going to use a celebrant, absolutely talk to your celebrant. I would be happy to have those conversations with you about working out what you want from your ceremony, how you want it, and you know, the overall feeling and what you want to get out of it. A good ceremony is a joy to behold and a beautiful event, and it should be absolutely authentic and perfect to you. So I think the last thing to say is, if you're going to book a celebrant, or any officiant really, book as soon as you possibly can to avoid disappointment. All of us will have different availability and different levels of bookings. So as soon as you know kind of roughly when you want to have your ceremony, best thing is to get in touch with the person that you want to officiate it as soon as you can, to make sure that they're definitely available when you would like them to be. So that's my little tips and advice for today on where to start when planning your ceremony. If you want to know more about the Authentic Celebrant, visit www.theauthenticcelebrant.co.uk. You can find me as The Authentic Celebrant on Instagram and Facebook. Follow me, say hello, get in touch, send me a message. I'll be really happy to talk to you. Speak to you soon.